Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. The Republican Party is quickly moving tax reform through the halls of Congress. They're hoping to deliver it as a Christmas present for the country, as the president promised. But as Heather Sells reports, their last-minute push to repeal the Obamacare mandate may not be a part of the final bill.
The White House said this weekend that although it considers the individual mandate a tax, it's comfortable with dropping it from the tax bill. That's a position that a key moderate Republican, Susan Collins, is pushing for.
The biggest mistake was putting in a provision from the Affordable Care Act into the Senate bill that's not in the House bill, and I hope that will be dropped.
Collins says she doesn't like both the mandate and the penalty that Obamacare imposes on people who don't buy health insurance.
The fact is that those fines are paid overwhelmingly by people who make less than $50,000 a year. 80% of the people who pay the fines fall in that category.
If the Senate repeals the mandate, she says, it must also work to cut health care premiums, because if they spike, it could negate the effect of tax cuts for middle-class families. Collins also said Sunday that she wants to cut the business tax rate to just 22% rather than the 20% currently in the bill. But the White House is saying no. The Trump administration wants to keep it at 20%. It argues that would help to grow the economy and ultimately reduce the national debt.
There's a lot of people preaching concern about those debts. The reality is, if we don't grow our economy, we are never going to pay for the things that we need to do, such as to rebuild our military. If we're the 1.8% GDP growth that we suffered under the Obama years, we will never be able to afford the things we need to do to make our border secure and make our world secure.
So far, tax reform is moving on a fast track. The House passed its bill last week, and the entire Senate is set to vote after Thanksgiving. But Collins and 5 other Republican senators have concerns about the bill. If the Senate leadership changes the bill to address their issues, it could lose the votes of other senators. And with just 52 Republican senators and total opposition from Democrats, the GOP needs every vote it can get. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Despite being under house arrest, Zimbabwe's embattled president, Robert Mugabe, remains defiant. During a national address Sunday, he refused to resign and insisted the military is still beholden to him as he officially remains their commander-in-chief. He did so flanked by members of the military who placed him under house arrest last week. Military leaders prefer Mugabe to resign to maintain a sense of legality. Amid the confusion, some people who openly celebrated Mugabe's detention are now cautious about discussing the situation. The 93-year-old has ruled Zimbabwe brutally since 1980, when the country won independence from white majority rule. Defense Secretary James Mattis sees an opportunity for talks between North Korea and the United States. But Mattis told CBN News in an exclusive interview that will only happen in Pyongyang if Pyongyang quits testing and developing its nuclear missile programs. CBN's national security correspondent Eric Gonzalez has more on this story.
Behind me is Cheyenne Mountain here in Colorado Springs, home to several government agencies, including the North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, and the U.S. Northern Command.
We collectively act as sort of the brainstem to our national missile warning, missile defense network. So if you would consider satellites, ground-based sensors as sort of nerve endings that first sense things going around the world. All that data from all those sensors are fed in here to Cheyenne Mountain.
A protective brainstem under tons of solid granite, responsible for homeland defense, including tracking and potentially intercepting North Korean missiles.
Sensors and tracking information comes in there for the Canadian and American officers to synthesize and stay alert to any threat to Canadian or American airspace.
Within minutes of a launch, the information is then sent up a chain of command to the Secretary of Defense and eventually to President Trump. Our CBN News cameras were not allowed inside Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station, but behind 2 giant solid steel doors sits a maze of 3-story buildings. It's a base which can stand up to any nuclear missile, even an electromagnetic attack, which North Korea has threatened to do. But is diplomacy still an option for North Korea?
If they stopped their shooting missiles, stopped developing nukes, stopped building more nukes, we could talk.
Mattis told CBN News if North Korea agreed, he would set the conditions to bring the rogue country to the table.
We are being led right now diplomatically. Everything we do is designed, the sanctions, the United Nations Security Council 2 resolution, unanimous resolutions, more economic sanctions, diplomatic persona non grata from a number of nations around the world. It's all designed to bring diplomatic and economic pressure on North Korea to change its course.
Mattis says in the meantime, he will remain focused on defense and protecting our country.
I believe that we have to have good, strong defenses with our allies in order to buy time for the diplomats to resolve the situation.
North Korea carried out its last test almost 2 months ago, but Pentagon officials say that they have seen no signs of development stopping. Mattis's only comment?
We're watching it closely.
By the way, I asked Secretary Mattis about his faith in God and how it shapes his decision-making. He told me he wants to keep that private. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Colorado Springs.
In Canada, a Christian university is being told not to go ahead with building a law school because if it does, the graduates will not be considered real lawyers because of the school's Christian standards. Although the case sounds ridiculous to many, it is on its way to Canada's highest court in just a week. CBN's Wendy Griffith traveled to British Columbia for the story.
With some 4,000 students, Trinity Western in Langley, British Columbia is Canada's largest and fastest growing Christian university. For 55 years, they've been graduating students from all over the world. In 2012, they decided it was time to add a law school, but 2 Canadian law societies objected, arguing TWU's Christian Covenant discriminates against the LGBTQ community, and therefore the school's future law school should be denied accreditation. University President Bob Kuhn says those claims are false.
The reality is that gay students and lesbian students have been coming to Trinity and or suggesting that we're precluding people from having this experience who self-identify as same-sex attracted or gay or lesbian is just not accurate.
Basically, the fight comes down to this: a community covenant that students are required to sign that says they're committed to the work and person of Jesus Christ and that marriage is between one man and one woman. It also asks students to refrain from sexual activity outside of traditional marriage. Same-sex advocacy groups claim this means that LGBTQ persons, including married ones, can never be their authentic selves while attending TWU. No one should be forced to renounce their dignity and self-respect in order to obtain an education. Attorney Earl Phillips says the case pits religious freedom against equal rights.
I think it's a big, important case, and it's really about what kind of society are we going to have in Canada. I'm hoping that the court will say we have a society here that is open to a lot of different ideas.
Some Trinity Western students call the charges of discrimination ridiculous, including 24-year-old Haya Fadah of Jordan. Haya is a Muslim. She came to the university specifically for its highly acclaimed linguistics program. She says her Muslim faith is not only accepted, but when they discovered she wasn't eating the school's regular chicken.
The second week, they got me halal chicken and they started cooking me halal meals. Wow. Just for me, just for one person. So actually, they care for you. They put your needs first.
Phillips says the case has implications beyond the Christian community in Canada.
If we are not allowed to have a law school because of what the Community Covenant says, I am concerned that for everybody, whether they are of the Christian faith or some other faith or no faith at all, everybody's fundamental freedom has been reduced.
For such a time as this, that's the theme here at Trinity Western for this year. And many say that's not a coincidence, as the future of the university's law school and its students is now in the hands of the Canadian Supreme Court. Wendy Griffith, CBN News, Langley, British Columbia.
Up next, the incredible story of a missionary in Sudan locked up alongside ISIS terrorists. Stay with us. Peter Yasik served the persecuted church for years, but was arrested at the end of his last visit to Sudan, charged with espionage and put in jail along with Islamic militants. Well, he's free now. Gary Lane has more on the story.
Arrested during a trip to Sudan, missionary Peter Yasik was imprisoned with members of ISIS.
One of the ISIS members was a Libyan guy who, at the age of 12, was a personal guard of Osama bin Laden in Tora Bora. And later on, when he returned to Libya, he was one of the murderers who slaughtered the 20 Egyptians on the Libyan shore. He told me that if I was an American or a Russian, that he would break my neck immediately and kill me. He took out a fishing string, quite a strong fishing string from his pocket, and he was showing how he can kill a person within a few seconds with this fishing string.
Peter discovered his other cellmates were just as extreme. When asked to share news from the outside, he told them about the Paris terrorist attack.
When I said that 129 people got killed, they interrupted me and they started to shout Allahu Akbar for several minutes. So immediately I knew that the company that I was in, and I stopped telling them any more news. They called me a filthy pig or a filthy rat, and if I did not react to this new name, they started to beat me with slapping my face or fist to my face, or then they used a wooden stick. So I gradually learned to live with the new name. I was not Peter anymore, I was just filthy pig.
How did it come to this? Why was this man dedicated to helping persecuted Christians now himself persecuted? Peter's arrest came in December 2015, just 2 years after the Sudanese government thought it had expelled all foreign Christian workers from the country. While visiting Sudan, Peter met with Christian leaders and recorded some video. Agents confiscated his equipment and charged him with spying against the government. During his first 4 months in jail, Peter asked God to return him to his family. His epiphany came after he led some Eritrean prisoners to Christ.
And I suddenly started to realize that there is a purpose, that the Lord has a purpose for me to be in prison, to share the gospel with those people. And I started to be even more courageous to open my mouth and share the gospel also with the Muslims who were in the previous cell with me.
In January 2017, a Sudanese court sentenced Peter to 20 years in prison. His work helping persecuted Christians in Sudan was considered an anti-state activity, espionage.
I really was considered to be a very dangerous person, and they mentioned that I am an employee of the spy organization called VOM. So actually VOM was it's a spy organization.
Not a missionary.
No,
not
it's
a mission organization.
Yeah.
The son of a pastor, Peter had experienced persecution before, growing up in communist Czechoslovakia.
A wire service bulletin flashes the word to an unbelieving world.
Christian oppression intensified in Czechoslovakia after Red Army tanks rolled through Prague in August 1968. Government agents constantly monitored Peter's parents and their Christian activities.
They knew that we were receiving Bibles and we were receiving Christian literature, and we were also my parents were distributing that.
One day, Peter returned home from school and found his parents missing.
They were arrested by secret police and interrogated, and apparently the secret police wanted to know what was going on in our house.
And 36 years later, like his parents, Peter was arrested for his Christian activities, only this time at the hands of Islamists, not communists. But God prepared Peter for his prison experience years earlier, when his father gave him a special gift.
Without saying much, he brought a book written by Richard Wurmbrand. The name of the book in German was In Gottes Untergrund, which means in God's underground in English, and I was fluent in German at that time already, so he gave me this book and he said, read this book, it will encourage your faith.
Peter's father passed at the age of 89, while Peter was in prison.
And what do you think, Peter, he would say to you about your time in prison and what you went through if he were still around now and he knew about it? All the details.
Yeah. I'm quite sure that he would be proud of me. I'm quite sure, yeah.
Peter was freed after spending 14 months in prison. He credits the Czech government for negotiating his release and the prayers and support of Christians around the world. Nearly 500,000 people signed a petition for him, and thousands sent encouraging cards and letters. Peter says he was brought to tears when he heard some Sudanese women near the prison singing Christian praise songs. How did your experience change you? How is Peter Yashik different now compared to before your prison experience?
When you come through this situation, you realize that everything that you have is a grace of God, and it is on His strength that it is in prison. It is not your own strength that you can survive. Being humble and being faithful till the last moment, this is the moment when we can be more than conquerors when we go through difficult situation because of our faith in Jesus Christ.
A humble servant of the persecuted church, persecuted himself, and then freed from prison. Grateful for those who prayed and for learning to wait patiently on God for victory and grace. Gary Lane, CBN News, Prague.
Up next, the Queen of Country takes a seat in Studio 5. We'll be right back. Dolly Parton never had any children of her own, but she loves little children dearly. Her latest project is called I Believe in You. It's an album written especially for those young fans. The CD is called I Believe in You. Dolly Parton has been making hits for all ages for more than 50 years.
If I should stay, well, I would only be in your way.
Her latest project is a collection of songs written especially for her younger fans.
And so I've racked up all these songs through the years, even writing songs for my nieces, nephews, and just for kids in general. And so it just seemed to be the right time.
Proceeds from the new album benefit Dolly's literacy program, the Imagination Library, which gives books to children from birth until kindergarten.
When I found out that we were just about to give away our 100 millionth book, I thought, well, why not just go ahead and do this children's album, because it seemed to be the thing to do.
And the songs come from a very personal place.
As a matter of fact, a couple of the songs that are very important to me in the I Believe in You CD is the song Chemo Hero, which I had a little niece, Hannah Dennison, who had chemo when she was like 4, and she had a real hard time till she was about 9 years old. So I used to write all these songs for her, put them on cassette, and for her to listen to while she was recuperating.
I'm a chemo hero, yeah, yeah, and that's a fact, yeah, yeah.
Her niece, now in her late 20s, joined Dolly as she released the album at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital in Nashville, the same place she fought cancer as a child. The music legend marked the occasion with a $1 million gift.
That's something that'll help a little bit.
I Believe in You comes after the success of Dolly's 2 television movies, The Coat of Many Colors and Dolly Parton's Christmas of Many Colors, Circle of Love.
Well, you do have a colorful way with words, Miss Dolly.
Oh, thank you, Miss Moody. So do you.
Dolly says her faith always plays a role in her work.
My faith has always been so important to me. I mean, I grew up in a very religious family, actually. My grandpa was a preacher. I'm not religious as much as I'm just spiritual. I do have a lot of faith. I pray every day. I pray about everything. I ask God to lead me and guide me in all the decisions that I make, and to bring all the good and right people into my life, and to let me do something to glorify God and to uplift mankind. That's my desire. That's my dream.
At a young 71, Dolly has no plans of slowing down.
Dreamed myself into a corner. I have all these projects, all these dreams that have come true, so I have to be responsible for them. And so many things I still want to do. I want to work. I love to work. I'm not the kind of person that could just sit around and not work.
Working 9 to 5.
And speaking of work, the big question, will those future projects include a 9 to 5 sequel?
I don't know if we'll ever do a sequel on 9 to 5 with Jane and Lily. We talked about it for many years, but I make jokes now that it'd probably have to be called 95 instead of 925 because we're all getting so much older. But they could do one. We talked about having some younger people and maybe we could, you know, come in as the old people that used to be there or something. There are ways to do it.
CBN's Operation Blessing has been on the ground in Texas, helping residents recover since Hurricane Harvey stormed the area 2 months ago. Here's Jody Geddes-Harrington with an update.
As we enter into the Thanksgiving holidays, Operation Blessing teams continue to be hard at work throughout East Texas, helping the residents continue to recover from Hurricane Harvey. Our Operation Blessing teams have been on the ground since day one, helping the residents in every phase of recovery. We continue to gut homes, sanitize them, dry them out, treat them for mold, and we're even rebuilding homes. Just a few days ago, we were able to bless 2 elderly residents with a brand new home, fully rebuilt, fully furnished, fully decorated, ready to come back home and live. Today, I'm coming to you from Miss Priscilla's home. Miss Priscilla is one of the elderly people that we were able to bless with a brand new home. When we found Miss Priscilla, she was literally living in the driveway in a rented Jeep with the seats down on a blow-up mattress. We came in, we gutted the home, and then we worked on it little by little. And then just a couple weeks ago, we asked her to move into a hotel room, which we gave to her. And we said, you know what, Miss Priscilla, our volunteer teams, we're gonna work as hard as we can in the next 2 weeks, but please don't expect everything to be done. We can't commit to that 100%, but we're gonna see what we could do. And then just a few short days ago, we welcomed Miss Priscilla back home for a surprise of a lifetime. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Yes, I do.
What a blessing that is. Thank you so much for watching this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We'll see you right back here come tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless everybody.